Major ruling from the Supreme Court on Monday. It's shutting down a giant lawsuit against Wal-Mart, ruling that female workers cannot sue the retail giant all at once for alleged sex discrimination. CBS News business and economics correspondent Rebecca Jarvis is here with the story. It definitely has an impact on workers and on business.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone's looking at this case as setting a new precedent for the future. 6 women tried to sue the chain superstore for paying and promoting men more than women. And the case has been 10 years in the making. It included roughly 1.5 million women, but the Supreme Court decided that the group was simply too large for a class action suit. It's the largest sex discrimination lawsuit in U.S. history, blocked yesterday by the United States Supreme Court. Wal-Mart was sued by Betty Dukes and 5 other female employees on behalf of 1.5 million other women across the country.
I was very optimistic that the courts perhaps would rule for us, but they did not.
The women claimed Wal-Mart discriminated against female employees when it came to pay and promotions. Through a class action lawsuit, they sought billions of dollars in damages. But in a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court threw out the case, ruling that the class was simply too varied. Walmart's 1.5 million female employees, quote, held a multitude of different jobs at different levels of Walmart's hierarchy for variable lengths of time in 3,400 stores sprinkled across 50 states. They have little in common but their sex and this lawsuit. The court did not rule on the discrimination claims themselves. Still, Wal-Mart considered the outcome a victory.
The court said that the evidence was worlds away from showing that Wal-Mart had a policy of discrimination. That's correct. We're very glad the court threw this class action out.
They still discriminate.
But for plaintiff Christine Kwapnowski, yesterday's ruling wasn't a red flag, merely red tape.
We're fighting for equal pay and equal promotions. I mean, in 2011, we're still having to fight.
Each woman must now sue Wal-Mart alone. Dukes admits this will be challenging.
It's easier to voice show complaints collectively than it is individually.
But none of them plan to give up.
We're all going to still stand strong and still fight Wal-Mart. You know, just because they got handed this verdict doesn't mean that they have by any means quit discriminating or they're not guilty of what any of our claims are.
And legal analysts see this as not only a win and a victory for Wal-Mart, but also for large businesses. And Erica, they think of it as something that's going to shield larger companies from facing similar class action suits in the future.
But what do they say about the impact of this on the average American worker?
The impact on the average American worker is that it's going to be harder to bring a lawsuit like this against your employer. And there are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, class action allows someone to not speak alone, to not have to feel that reluctance about coming forward and saying something and possibly facing the repercussions of going against your employer. Also, it's less expensive to go as a collective group. There are many attorneys who won't even take a case like this if it's coming from one person. They need to be able to show, in order to make a big settlement, that this was happening across the board and it happened to many people. So the legal analysts I spoke to said individuals who have a complaint or a grievance against their company may not even be able to find legal representation in the future because of this precedent.
Wow, interesting. All right, well, we'll continue to follow the fallout from it. Rebecca, thanks.